The different religions have different names. The Jews call the two arches together the Gate of Mercy. According to Jewish tradition, the Messiah will enter Jerusalem through this gate.
Different faiths have given this place different names. In Jewish tradition, the two sealed arches are known as the Gate of Mercy, a sacred entrance where the Messiah is believed to enter Jerusalem. For centuries, this gate has remained completely still, unopened, untouched, unmoved, not even a fraction. But now, something has changed. For the first time in living memory, there are signs that it may be shifting, not forced open, not damaged, not sluche, chance, but moving in a way that feels almost beyond human control. This isn't just stone. To many, it feels like something deeper, like prophecy, coming alive. Across the world, millions believe this gate will only open during one of the most critical moments in human history. And now, suddenly, something is happening that no one expected. News is spreading fast, from temples to churches to mosques. People aren't coming as tourists anymore. They're coming to witness what some are calling a sign. The Golden Gate, a structure that has survived empires, invasions, earthquakes, and over 500 years of silence, is now showing signs of movement. A gate sealed out of fear, surrounded by ancient graves, wrapped in mystery and belief, and now, possibly pointing toward the fulfillment of a prophecy that many believe could signal the beginning of the end times. If you want to understand what's really happening, what hasn't been revealed publicly, and why this moment could be more important than it seems, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because what comes next might change everything. For over 5 centuries, this gate has remained completely untouched, while other entrances to Jerusalem's old city were repaired, reopened, or rebuilt. This one stood unchanged, frozen, not by accident, but, according to many believers, by divine design. The Golden Gate faces the Mount of Olives, the very place where prophecy says a Messiah will appear. In Jewish belief, their Messiah will enter through this gate. In Christianity, it is believed that Jesus Christ will return and pass through it once again. 2 faiths, 1 gate, 1 shared expectation. But now, something has people talking. After centuries of absolute stillness, there are claims that something has changed. Locals report unusual movement, strange activity. Religious leaders from different traditions are holding quiet, urgent discussions. And perhaps most unsettling of all, there's been complete silence from mainstream media. Because when prophecy begins to unfold, it doesn't arrive with headlines. It begins quietly, with whispers, with subtle signs that only a few notice at first. And now, new reports suggest that parts of the gate's interior may have been accessed. No announcement, no ceremony, just a sudden disturbance, with no clear explanation. And that's what's making both believers and skeptics uneasy. Because if the ancient prophecies are true, this isn't just about a gate opening. This could be the start of something far greater, something world-changing. History adds another layer to the mystery. In 1541, Suleiman the Magnificent ordered the gate to be sealed. But it wasn't just a political move. According to translated Ottoman records, the Sultan was troubled by recurring visions. A radiant figure approaching from the Mount of Olives, entering through the Eastern Gate and transforming Jerusalem. Disturbed, he sought answers. He consulted Jewish rabbis, Christian priests, and Islamic scholars. And despite their differences, they all agreed on one thing. This gate held powerful prophetic meaning, so he didn't just close it. He tried to stop the prophecy itself, and then he went further. He ordered a cemetery to be built directly in front of the gate. A second barrier. The reasoning was strategic. Graves would create ritual impurity, preventing certain religious figures from approaching. and if a true Messiah ever came, he would have to overcome death itself just to enter. But here's the irony. That barrier may not have stopped prophecy. It may have completed it. Because now the path is lined with graves, a final test. Only someone with power over life and death could pass through. And history echoes this moment. Around 2,000 years ago, Jesus Christ entered Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives. Riding a donkey, passing through this very direction, fulfilling the words of Zechariah, "Your king comes to you, humble and riding on a donkey." But that wasn't the end of the prophecy. In Book of Zechariah, another moment is described, a future event, one still to come, a time when his feet will stand once again on the Mount of Olives, and the mountain itself will split apart. Same place, same direction, same gate. But next time, not as a humble teacher, as a king, the gate that once welcomed peace may one day open again for something far more powerful. The doorway that once opened for the Lamb is believed to one day open again, this time for the Lion of Judah. Same place, same prophecy, but a completely different arrival. Now it makes sense why every attempt to alter this gate has failed, because to many, this isn't just stone and history. It's a designated entrance for one of the most significant moments humanity may ever witness. Time and again, history seems to step in and stop human intervention. In 1917, plans were made to destroy the gate completely. But on that very day, control of Jerusalem shifted, halting everything instantly. In 1967, after the Six-Day War, the authority to open the gate was finally there. But before anything could happen, a respected rabbi issued a warning. Only the Messiah may enter here. And just like that, the plan was abandoned. Then came 1993, a moment of peace negotiations. The Golden Gate was set to be opened as a symbol of unity. But the night before the ceremony, something strange happened. Leaders on both sides reported the same dream. A figure standing before the gate, shaking his head, saying, "Not yet, not by your hands." By morning, the event was cancelled, without explanation, and this is what unsettles many observers. None of these moments failed due to politics or technical problems. Each time, decisions suddenly reversed, as if something unseen was quietly guiding events away from happening too soon. And this pattern goes back even further. Ottoman engineers once tried to modify the gate. Tools failed without reason. British archaeologists began excavations, only to be abruptly reassigned. In 1948, attempts to reinforce the structure failed. Equipment broke, explosives misfired. It's almost as if the gate resists interference, not through force, but through something far more subtle. While the rest of Jerusalem's ancient structures show age, cracks, erosion, damage, this gate stands differently. Stone experts say its condition doesn't match its timeline, as if time itself has moved differently around it. Then came 2019, and things became even stranger. During Ramadan, a worker claimed he heard voices, prayers, coming from inside the sealed chambers. At that exact moment, nearby surveillance systems failed. Not everywhere, just around the gate. The footage, gone. Soon after, blurry images began circulating. A faint, flickering light glowing from within. No openings, no visible source, just a steady pulse, almost like a heartbeat. These images were quietly shown to religious leaders from multiple faiths. None spoke publicly. All requested silence. And perhaps the most unsettling response came from authorities. Normally, any unusual event at the Temple Mount triggers immediate attention. Investigations, statements, clarifications. But this time, nothing. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. And sometimes, silence says more than words ever could, because prophecy doesn't arrive with headlines. It unfolds quietly, through patterns, through signs, through moments that don't feel like coincidence. Jesus Christ once said his return would be like the days of Noah, life continuing as normal until everything changes in an instant. And maybe that's what makes this so unsettling, because what if something is already happening out of sight? A hidden stage before the visible one, a preparation before the reveal, a whisper before the moment the world finally hears it. Whatever is happening inside that gate right now may not be the final event, but it could be the beginning. Those paying close attention say something feels different. More people reporting vivid dreams about Jerusalem. More unusual events. More connections between modern times and ancient prophecy. For over 500 years, the Golden Gate has remained sealed, silent, still. But maybe that silence was never emptiness. Maybe it was waiting. Now, something about that silence feels different. That stillness. It's no longer still. It's shifting. The gate doesn't need to burst open to make its point. Even the slightest movement is enough to send shockwaves through those who understand what it represents. The alignment itself is impossible to ignore. The Golden Gate and the Mount of Olives face each other directly. Nothing in between. Nothing blocking the view. A perfect line of sight. A perfect connection. But what makes this even more unsettling is what lies beneath. Both locations sit on the same continuous limestone foundation. Geologically, they're connected, one structure beneath the surface. So when the prophet Zechariah spoke of the mountain splitting, he wasn't describing something symbolic. He was describing a force powerful enough to tear through the very ground, linking these two sacred points. And now, modern science is detecting something strange. A fault line runs directly between them, and recently, that line has become active. Tiny tremors, subtle vibrations, happening more often than they should. At the center of all this stands Jerusalem, a city mentioned hundreds of times in prophecy, not for its past, but for its future. And right at the heart of those prophecies is this gate, a doorway between what is and what's coming next. Everything seems to be aligning. Ancient preparations are reappearing, global events are shifting. Timelines that once felt distant now feel close. Yet through all of it, the gate remains sealed, untouched, waiting. For Jews, it's where the Messiah will enter. For Christians, it's the path of Christ's return. For Muslims, it's known as Bab al-Rahmah, the Gate of Mercy. Different beliefs, same place, same expectation. And maybe that's the most powerful part of all, because when this gate finally opens, it won't signal destruction. It will mark something far greater. A moment of divine mercy, arriving exactly when the world needs it most. Even now, something feels different. Quiet meetings between religious leaders. A shared sense that something is approaching. They may not agree on everything, but on one thing they do. The waiting might be almost over. For centuries, every attempt to interfere with this gate has failed. Empires fell, plans collapsed, efforts stopped without explanation, almost as if it's not meant to be touched by human hands. Because this gate doesn't belong to history. It belongs to prophecy. For nearly 2,000 years, it has stood as a reminder that timing like this can't be forced. Every day it stays closed is mercy. Every year it remains sealed is another chance. Its silence speaks louder than words. Its stillness carries meaning deeper than logic. And now, that silence is breaking. The gate isn't opening like a door. It's awakening, like something alive. The ground is shifting. The tension is building. The stillness is fading. After 500 years, something is finally changing. And when it happens, When the one meant to pass through it finally arrives, everything changes because this gate was never meant to stay closed forever. It was meant to wait for the exact moment the world would never forget. The countdown isn't written on clocks, it's written in stone, and those stones are starting to move. So tell me, are we witnessing the beginning of something prophetic, or just another mystery waiting to be explained? Drop your thoughts below. And if you want more mind-blowing mysteries like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Because what's coming next, you don't want to miss.